Hola, hola, ¿cómo están todos? How are you doing? I'm la super comadre Claudia of RadioCrystalUSA.com. How is everyone doing? I am just enjoying a nice glass of wine outside on the patio of Napoli's Wine and Cafe. And it is located here in Houston on 4601 Washington. So if you ever need to go out and unwind, have a nice Italian dinner, have a nice glass of wine, just come on down to Napoli's and enjoy here in Houston, near downtown. So I am super excited today because I have two amazing guests. One's going to be here in person on the patio, and another one we're going to Zoom her in. I guess you would say Zoom her in virtually. They are up for re-election. If you don't know, there's elections that are about to happen here in Houston, and we just want to make sure that you know who the candidates are, what they're seeking re-election for, and just get to know the importance of why voting matters. Just make sure that you're registered, make sure that you are on top of that so that your vote counts. Because ustedes saben, su voto es su voz. Y si no votan, pues no se va a escuchar su voz. Así es que uno tiene que votar en cada elección. Y ya sabemos que las elecciones ya van a empezar el 18 de octubre. Hoy, today, it's National Night Out, where everybody comes out. Neighbors get to know neighbors. People that are running for office are out, in full force, just out there visiting with the community. And I'm out here, as well, celebrating National Night Out, recording from Napoli's Wine and Cafe. And yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about, let me share a little bit about me. What's up with La Super Comadre? What's been going on? Well, I just want to say that I am super duper blessed right now. I was just talking to Liliana before we went on the air, and I kept telling her, I'm like, I feel this calmness, this peace that I'm not used to. And I'm kind of thinking that something's about to happen, like something's about to drop, something I don't know. I don't know. And I always, my natural inclination is to think of the worst, to think of, oh my God, something bad's about to happen. But I don't feel that. I don't feel that something bad's about to happen. But I feel that something is about to happen. I'm just not sure what. But I do feel a sense of peace. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to being on the go. I'm used to, oh my God, what's going to happen next? I'm used to thinking too much, overthinking, sometimes over catastrophizing. Like I'm already thinking about the end result when I haven't even started. So it's an amazing feeling right now to feel like just peace and calm. So, my super comadre Liliana, where are you? ¿Dónde estás? Because I want to share this with you again, live with everyone. ¿Cómo estás, amiga? ¿Cómo estás,
I'm
super
right
comadre?
here. I'm right here behind the scenes, taking care of everything, comadre.
Yes. Now, have you ever felt that? Do you live in a sense of peace and calmness all the time, or I'm not used to this, or and do you feel this all the time, or do you
You know me,
sometimes
comadre.
feel
You know
it?
me, comadre. I'm like you. I'm up and down, up and down, up and down. And when it feels so calm, I'm like, that's not me. It's not me. That's not me.
Yeah, but I like it. I
Yeah,
like
it feels good now. With this pandemic, I learned to sleep a little bit more.
nice.
So I'm
Yes.
like, I know I work 7 days a week, but I now I know how to well, I go to bed earlier.
Good.
I take my well, I have more time for me
Las
and more
vitaminas,
time for everything. Yeah, more.
more time for you. You
Yeah.
know what? You know what? Okay. You're like me, on the go, all over the place, lots of people, and this weekend I didn't do much of that. I spent a lot of time en mi casa, limpiando, recogiendo, ordering stuff online.
Exactly.
I love to go shopping, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna stay home, and I ordered my groceries online. Then I ordered some stuff that the girls needed online, and then it started showing up on my doorstep. I'm like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
But I'm
It saves
a
a
but
lot of time, so you can spend it with
yes.
your
Yes,
family, your loved ones, your friends. Also,
totally.
like me,
Totally.
I go by my calendar, my agenda. If
Yes.
if it's not there, I'm not even thinking about it. I have to
You
put it
know,
on my agenda. Otherwise, I'll book something else on it.
on
So
it.
that's how I go. Even like Mondays are
Yeah.
my cleaning days.
Uh-huh.
I wash and clean and everything, or whatever
Yeah.
I have to do. I just do it on Mondays.
Yes, you just do it on Mondays. You know what? I
And
like that.
sometimes I say, well, but I didn't do it this Monday. I'll do it next Monday, and I'm gonna spend some time with my friends, and I make
Yes.
plans, and or just stay home watching movies or
I like that.
whatever I want. That's my time. It's
That's
my
your
me
time.
time. Uh-huh.
I like that. And I need to get back to working out. Yo tengo que hacer yoga, tengo que hacer, correr, ricotear o algo. But I haven't been doing that. And my trainer called me out. She's like, girl, when are you going to come? And I like her because no me regaña muy mal, no es mala, pero sí me dice, ¿cuándo vas a venir? When are you coming? And I like that. I like that because it's accountability. And
That's
even though I don't make it to her gym, yo me tiro en el piso en la casa, en el yoga mat y me pongo a hacer ahí los ejercicios porque tengo un cuartito en mi casa, ¿verdad? That I set it up as a yoga meditation room. So I just try to do what I can. You know, I still set that time aside, whether I drive to the gym or I do it at my house. And
mhm.
I don't, I like this feeling. And you know what, comadre, super comadre, I've been told by someone that I really care about. Number one, I do too much. And I was like, no, I don't. I cut back. And I cut back. I'm not singing with the band like I used to. I do network with my other organization, NHPO, with one of my organizations. I'm on the board of several organizations, and there are some jobs or some tasks that I just didn't get a chance to do because I want to say my body said, you know what, Claudia, slow down. You just can't. Yes, you want to help, but only do as much as your body can. And and I keep
Exactly.
hearing those words in my mind, in my head, like you do too much. And in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm doing less. But
Yeah.
in that person's
You
eyes,
do
they're
more
like,
than this.
you're
Yeah.
doing a lot. And they're like, and I'm like, let me turn down my light because it's so bright. Because I'm outdoors in this patio. It's so super cool right now. Okay, what about now? Is
Yeah.
that good?
That's better.
Okay,
Yeah. Better.
much better. So I'm like, I love it. I love it. And I love that this person is telling me this because maybe I needed to hear that. Maybe I needed to hear you're doing too much. And maybe that sense of peace and calmness comes from the fact that I am only doing so many things. And then I know that sometimes my mom and my dad se preocupan por mí porque me dicen, oye, te vi aquí, te vi allá, but nomás voy un ratito, nos tomamos una foto, hacemos la conexión, ¿verdad? Like a business connection or networking, and then we leave.
Exactly.
So it looks like I'm all over the place, but not, and maybe I am, but I'll be there for a little while, and then I'll go home.
Exactly.
I do what needs
It's
to be
like
done.
yeah, it's like me. Well, I sing well almost every day,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then last week I just noticed how many pictures I have in my phone, and
Mm,
I went through all of it, and I was like, yeah, I did all that in 1 week,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I reminded well it made me remember of the days with no pandemic. That's
Oh,
that's how I was.
yeah,
It was Monday through Sunday, like
yeah. Boom,
event
boom, 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 boom.
event after event after event, and that reminded me of that the days with no pandemic. And
Yeah.
I felt so weird because
Uh huh.
I had to go through a lot of albums and
Yeah.
go through a lot of pictures, and I remembered I remembered I used to do that right before the pandemic.
Uh
So
huh.
so I felt like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
An event after another one, like the mariachi festival, and then
Yeah.
I started Wednesday, singing at Aroma, and
Uh-huh.
then Friday at um in Humble, Texas, and then the mariachi festival, and then the purple carpet, and
Yeah,
then I mean, it's so many things that happen, but we're so used to that
I know.
in our lives.
It
People
is.
don't. A lot of people don't know about that, but
No.
to us, is normal.
It's normal. It's normal. And for me, I need to balance it because I have two girls, one's 12, one's 13 now, and they're growing up so fast. And I mean, every time I wake up, they're like an inch taller. And I'm like, what? You could slow down with your growth. Pero sí, comadre, I love this feeling right now that I'm feeling of this sense of calmness and peace. I don't know how it's manifesting. Maybe it's all the things that I've been practicing. I've been practicing saying no to certain things. I've been practicing, taking care of myself, like, exercising, even if it's at home. I've been practicing being present,
That's
being in the moment. Every time my mind starts wandering to the future and what I want to do, and oh my God, have I done this, and that to do that? I'm like, you know what? Stop. Focus. Yes, have your goals,
on today.
but focus on what's in front of you. Which I want to also say, I'm super excited because
What happened?
okay, so this year my year at my school, because I am an educator ¿cómo dice? De vocación, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí, sí.
I started off with the title of a literacy specialist in the library, where I'm supposed to be working with small groups of students. And I had an assistant that was going to come in and take care of checking out the books so that I can go and work with small groups. Well, that didn't work out, but you know me. You know how I roll. You're like, okay, se cambió la cosa aquí? No worries. I'm going to keep going. So now I am like the kind of the librarian, but not really, because I'm just making it. You know me. I take something and I run with it. I'll do the best I can. And I noticed in that kids, not just in this school, but overall, that reading and paying and being in a book les cuesta mucho. No, los niños como que les cuesta leer porque número uno a veces no saben. Sometimes it's just hard for the child to read what's in front of them, right? And then two, they're getting into a story is not something that they're used to, and especially now coming back from a pandemic and being at home and being on the screens, on Roblox and TikToking, all that.
That's right.
It's like, what can I do to make reading and writing fun? So me and my expertise, I'm like, you know what? Let's not focus on the checking out of books and sitting and reading a book, which we do. Let's focus on creating stories and acting them out. So I was trained as a teacher, and then I became a trainer with Rice University and teaching teachers how to get kids excited about reading and writing. So that's what I'm doing with the whole school.
That's
We're,
great.
we're coming up, the kids are their own authors, are becoming authors and illustrators, and we are creating a book, an anthology of stories where the kids are coming up with it. And I am having such an amazing time, comadre. And I think that's also part of my piece, is that I am not in the classroom. No tengo la responsabilidad de un grupo de estudiantes como los 2 años anteriores. It's just been amazing where I think that's part of my piece as well, is that I'm super duper happy and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm in the library. I get there the night before. I'm actually looking forward. There were many, many times when I wanted to pretend like I was sick and call in sick because I was just done. But, comadre, this has been an amazing start to it this year, especially coming back in person, especially having dealt with COVID, especially dealing with all that. And I'm like, I like this. I love this. I love inspiring kids to be writers and illustrators and then actors, because then we act out their story. Y no hacemos algo bien grande. Yo nomás les leo su cuento and they act it out. I just read their story out loud and they act it out. And they're having such an amazing time with their stories being read out loud. And now I have middle school students. We have like a whole publishing company now in-house where the kids are typing, the older kids are typing the stories of the younger kids.
Oh,
And we're making,
wow.
yeah, so it's like, and then they're learning how to make a book. And I'm like, I love
Hey,
this.
you
I love
started
this.
something. You started something
Yes. And I
somewhere.
think and I think that's where my piece is coming from is that right there. Is that I'm super excited about what I'm doing. No tengo la responsabilidad de una clase de 40 niños como antes. It leaves me time to just go home and recharge and do the things that I love to do, like this.
Yeah.
And right now, I just had one of my guests just pass by. Eva Loredo is one of our guests. She's a trustee with HCC, and she's going to be coming on shortly to share.
Oh,
And then Holly
I would
también
like
Vila
to,
Seca in
well,
person.
I'd like to share this photo.
Yes,
Actually,
a ver, ¿qué
uh,
tienes aquí?
Eva
Yes, there we
Loredo.
are. There we are. There we are here at Napoli's, actually. Eva Loredo had a campaign fundraiser gathering here at Napoli's Wine and Cafe, and there's our group picture right there. She's going to be coming on in a few. We're going to have Holly Vilaseca, who is a trustee, a school board member with Houston ISD. She's going to be joining us soon, and then we're going to have Eva coming on soon. And we're just going to talk about the importance because I'm talking about education. I'm talking about what I'm doing, which is inspiring kids to be readers and writers. Porque, y luego no te miento, comadre.
What?
I'm going to tell you something that the kids told me.
Okay.
You're going to laugh. The kids have told me, Ms. Macias, you're the youngest librarian we've had at our school. And I'm like, if y'all only,
Well, they think you're 21.
yes, and I am loving it. They're like, y yo me he visto bien super cute. You know me. I always wear my flower. I always dress really nice. And they are always commenting like, we like your shoes. We like your flower. We like your dress. You've been the youngest librarian here. Me han dicho que las otras bibliotecarias, se dice bibliotecarias, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí,
They were, eso, palabras de los niños, ¿verdad? Ms. Macias, the other librarian we had, estaba bien grande de edad que ni podía caminar la pobre.
oh my God.
And I'm like, well,
Tengo unos taconzotes así, ¿no?
no, yo con los tacones, yo con los tacones y la flor. And I'm like reading and writing and spreading the joy of literature and literacy. And because it's hard, the teachers are having a hard time. And I know that it
Yeah,
has,
well, it's been, I
you've
mean,
seen it.
the pandemic was here and they had all the time in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, parents were trying to make it.
Yeah,
And
they're trying to make
they were
it
not
work.
focusing on their children's
Yes.
reading or writing or
Yes.
continuing with their
Exactly.
education. So it's all coming back at once, and it hits
Sí, sí,
them
sí, sí.
like a
Como un
bomb.
tsunami.
Yeah,
And one of the things, like if I was running a school or if I was running the school district or if I was a superintendent from the top down, one of the things I would recommend greatly would be you needed to spend time on just getting kids reacclimated to human interaction. A lot
exactly.
like what I'm
You
doing,
know,
like a lot of stories, a lot of conversations. Because if you come into the
that is
school, into the classroom, starting day one, like we're gonna do this work, it's not gonna work. Porque
no,
los niños, they have to reprogram their brains to listen to people because all
just to socialize.
they've only been doing this,
Yeah, they're
you
looking
know?
at the screen, and then you know
Exactly.
and that's what we do. Well, as you know, I'm working as a PE. I'm a coach,
Yes, you
and
are.
one thing we introduced was talking to others,
Mm-hmm.
talking to others,
Exactly.
um, and that's part of it. It's part of movement, and we have to
Yes.
walk next to someone and talk
Yes.
to them and
Yes.
ask them questions. What's your favorite thing to do? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite things? I mean, just to break the ice.
Yes.
I mean,
Conversaciones,
there was
conexiones con
ice. Now there are
humanos.
glaciers
Yeah.
in front of them.
Montañas debajo del agua
Yep.
of ice. You know,
So
and
we have
then
to work little by little.
little by little,
And
exactly.
the thing is, school is some children have that little opportunity at school.
Exactly.
Once they get home,
Exactly.
they don't see other kids.
No, no, and that's just it. Is whenever teachers come up to me because I used to be a principal. I used to be an assistant principal. I used to,
And by the way,
support.
it's principals.
Oh yeah, it's Principal Appreciation Week or month, right? Algo
Yeah,
así.
month, the entire month.
So, saludos a todas las directoras de
Y
escuelas.
para ti, felicidades, comadre.
Oh, well, gracias, because I did do it once.
Sí.
So yeah, so thank you, and for all the school leaders out there that are taking on this role, especially after coming out of the pandemic. My hats off to you, and cheers. A lot of this is happening, and I'm holding a glass of wine.
Yo voy a celebrar con Malta.
Cheers. There we
Malta.
go. There we
Salud.
go. Cheers. Salud. Salud. Because it is work. And if we stop, like when the teachers come to me, I'm the librarian, and they come and y se desahogan conmigo porque saben de mi trabajo del anterior. They know that I've been a principal. Y se desahogan. They kind of let their hair. They kind of share. They're vulnerable. And all I do is listen and say, "You're doing the best you can do. Just you're coming out of a pandemic. Give yourself grace. If what's working is not working, start over. Start over tomorrow. Start over with conversation. Start over with just the basic minimum of human interaction. Play games. Play do activities that involve listening to each other, and you have to model that because the kids, like me, yo soy mamá. Mis niñas estaban en la casa con su computadora también. I was like, go do your work because I gotta teach. So I'm over here trying to teach kids while my two kids were on a laptop, solas, doing I don't know what. And then the teachers would call me, las maestras de ellas, like, tu hija no se presentó a la clase. I'm like, what do you mean my kid didn't show up for class? She's right in front of me. Was, well, I'm trying to work. So I hear it and I feel it, from both ends as a teacher, as a mom, as used to be, school leader, going into this, giving ourselves grace, giving, being vulnerable to asking for help, and realizing that what we're doing is the best that we can do with what's happened in the past. And all we can do is move forward. That's all we can do.
Something I've learned with this school I'm working at
Yeah.
is we appreciate a lot. And
Yes.
like
Yes.
we have a weekly appreciation form that
Uh-huh.
we fill out and thank someone or thank a team or thank someone
Nice.
or anything, and it's
Yes.
say to someone, and
Yes. I
that
love that.
makes me feel good
Mm-hmm.
for saying it, and also it makes them feel good.
Exactly. And that's what we need to do is we need to appreciate, and we need to point out what is it that's going well. Because y es por eso que te decía antes, I'm not used to this peace. I'm not used to this calmness. I'm used to like, oh my gosh, what's next? What's next? And I kind of like this. I'm
Yeah.
liking this vibe. And maybe
You
it's
can control. You're controlling everything around you now.
well, no, not really, because I'm used to controlling everything. I want to control the responses. I want to control how I do things. I want to control how they respond. I want to control, and I'm kind of just letting go.
Letting it flow.
I'm letting it flow. I'm letting things flow. And this is not like me, and I'm enjoying it now.
Good. I mean, I mean, we go. I mean, our life, we go in
Yes.
phases.
Yes.
We're going to touch, and sometimes we're gonna touch a face and like it. Sometimes we're not gonna like it. Oh, la comadre se nos fue. Bueno, vamos a pasar a un comercial. Okay. For those of you here with us, thank you for being with la Super Comadre Show. And vamos a un comercial. Regresamos. ¿Estás planeando tu boda, un 15 años o un evento corporativo? Te invito a conocer el nuevo salón de eventos San Miguel Event Hall, lo mejor para tus eventos de ensueño. Con amplio estacionamiento y capacidad de hasta 600 invitados. Llama al teléfono en pantalla para más informes. Hey, comadre, you're back.
All right. Can you hear me?
Hey, comadre. Your headphones or your...
All right, comadre. ¿Me puedes oír? ¿Me escuchas? Testing 1 2.
Yes.
Testing 1 2. All right, right here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. All right, comadre.
All righty. So we're going to be talking super loud, but I have my super comadre right here next to me. How's the sound? Can you hear us over there?
Very well.
Loud and clear? All right.
Loud and
Okay.
clear.
Okay, let me make sure you can hear us. All right. So, I have next to me someone who is running. She's re-election, right? Re-election. And I want to bring her on because a couple of things I want to share with the audience is number one, why is it important to vote? Number two, your position with HCC trustee, how does it affect the community at large? So introduce yourself, and then we're going to go into those questions.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm Eva Loredo, and I'm a trustee at Houston Community College, District 8. So apologize for my appearance because we've been walking.
Yes, which is a good sign.
Walking.
You've been walking.
Walking, hitting the streets, hitting the houses, talking to people, meeting and greeting.
Yes.
And so, I've been on the community college 12 years. And prior to that, I was teacher, principal, and I heard you saying about the hard work that it is, The pay is not that good, but the rewards are great, and the rewards are the students.
Yes.
And so I just love being with the students and talking to them and encouraging them and motivating them. So I found that being on the college board is an extension of just the education. And so that's my passion.
And there's your flyer right there.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. So for those of you that are just joining in right now, that are connecting with us, we are on live on RadioCristaUSA.com. We're also on Facebook, YouTube. We are on Twitter. You're going to get a chance to meet Eva Loredo over and over again, and make sure that you go out to her events. Make sure that you follow her. Make sure that you like her, all her social media platforms, because that way you get a chance to know who she is and what she stands for. And we're already hearing right now that she's a woman who's been in the classroom, a woman who's led a school, a woman who now sees her role as extending beyond what you have been doing. Yes. So as an HCC trustee, why is it important for us to get involved with these elections of making sure we have people like you in those positions?
Well, it's so important to vote. This is the media isn't even making a hype about it, which is sad because this is the education ballots. We have people that are on the ballots that care about education. So we have the ISDs, and then we have the community college. And so it's important because we have so many opportunities. I say that sometimes a community college is like a second chance place. And for people that might have gone to the university and they didn't do well, and that, but that's not the end of the line for them. They need to come back to the community college and try some of the certificate programs. Yeah. And that's what we're doing. We have a strong workforce program. We have a strong certificate program, and then we also have academics. And we have partnerships with the universities. We have like University of Houston, TSU, we have A&M, we have UT Tyler. So we have those big colleges. So it's important to me that we have opportunities for all students. Yes. So I just say, when do your homework, check on on my opponents, because I do have two opponents.
Okay.
And so, I just wanted you to know that when I say education for all, I don't want to drop anybody on the wayside. I want to make sure that even if you're a D student, a C student, we have something for you.
There's something
we
for you.
We have to help you. We have to keep you in school, and we have to motivate you. And there's different ways to reach them, and so I want to continue doing that.
I like what you just said right now, that there's something for everyone, because yes, college is important, but I, as an educator, I promote college and career. College and career, because you just don't know what it is that is going to be the best fit for you. And I talk to my students, and I've always talked to my students, I go, if you are creative, if you are business-minded, okay, put your plan together now. And just go to a community college where you can get the certificates you need to do what you want to do.
Right.
What, there's something, and when you said D student, I want to tell you, Eva, that when I was in my high school, I was in the honors college-bound program. I got to the University of Houston. I was totally lost. I was a C student that first 2 semesters where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And thank God for people like Dr. Tacho Mendiola, the Mexican American Studies program. People that, you had it. We all had the connection.
We had to go through Tacho.
And I went to San Jacinto College. I took some courses there. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to take some courses near my house. I need to find a place. So I did a combination of San Jacinto College as well as U of H because I needed to figure out what was going to help me.
Yes.
So there's no one way to do things.
Right. And then we also have the dual credit. So the dual credit is in partnership with HISD. And so we, but we're still getting resistance from some in the education field there at HISD, not allowing the HCC to go into the campuses because, again, they're trying to promote them for university. And that's great. But let's not forget about those others that are not university ready.
And that's okay.
They might be ready in 2 years after they've gone through HCC or through a community college.
Yes.
So, community colleges have a lot to offer. And, it's a good springboard. It's a springboard to go on to the universities, and it's affordable.
Yes.
Not everyone has those big bucks to go to university.
And that is so key, is the affordability, accessibility, and let's get you on the path that you need to be on. And you mentioned earlier about the different certificates available. We live in the city of Houston. Medical Center, Energy Corridor, we have technology. We have it all here. And we got to make sure that our students are leaving their high schools locally ready to take on any of those avenues.
Yes. We need to make sure that we train them, we get them prepared. And HCC has partnerships with Apple. We're one of the only community colleges that in Texas
Did you hear that?
had a partnership with Apple, and we're going on about 5 years.
Okay.
And so every time Apple comes up with something new, guess what? Houston Community College is the first to have it.
To it.
And so I tell students, if you love your phone and then you're able to get on the Apple and learn and get those certificates and move on up and get those better jobs.
Exactly. And that's what I always tell my students around me. I know that, especially during pandemic, a lot of kids, they were doing their work online, attending class online. And then when they weren't online doing their class, they pues andaban allá con el Roblox and with the TikToking. And I would always tell my students and my own kids, hey, why don't you learn how to make that program?
Exactly.
Why don't you be the one to create it and make money off of it?
Right.
And I think that's opening that avenue. And as HEC trustee, that's, am I hearing correctly, that you provide those connections for that to happen?
Yes. And something that happens in our Latinos, and not just Latinos, but in minorities and people, is that they don't have the exposure. So, the families are busy working, and so they don't have the time to take you to the museums or take you to events that are free, that are there. But if you see it, then you're going to get interested and you're going to want to, try it. And so I know that this past weekend we had a big STEM Academy with the Gathering of Eagles. And so I heard it was excellent. And the students got a lot of hands-on. And I remember, as a teacher, that we have to have those hands-on activities because the book is not, and the lectures are not cutting it this time. Students get antsy and they want to try something. They want to try it. So we have a lot of scientists and engineers out there in the elementaries and in the school, and it's just us making sure that we have all those opportunities for them.
So you talked a lot earlier about your role as an administrator. Now, let's say you were in the role today, coming out of a pandemic, having to come back to human interaction. if you, what words or what advice or what tips would you give to today's principal on how to move forward with high, still have those high goals for students, but then be grounded, I guess. What do you recommend?
Well, one of the things that I know I did, and it was pretty successful, is that I made sure that I always had time for the students. Try to have activities where the students. So just always trying to include the families, have activities, listen to them, and they have so many issues at home, and the school is their savior.
Yes.
The school is where the students, they want to belong, they feel nurtured, and that's what the school does for them. So I know that many of them were ready to come back to school.
Oh, yes.
They missed those hugs, they missed the attention, and so principals today, I know they don't have the time because they're just trying to give that accountability.
Yes.
And that accountability,
which is important.
It's important,
but
the
humanity
and the personal touch is still very needed. And the parents need it too.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you win over the kids, you can win over the parents.
Exactly.
That was always my motto.
There you
so
go.
Win over the kids.
Words to live by. If you win over the kids, you win over the parents. And one thing that I remember with as a leader and as just a colleague, whenever I would hear fellow colleagues say, "Well, I'm not here. I'm only here to teach a subject. I'm only here to teach math. I'm only here to teach reading. I'm not here to be anybody's friend. I'm not here for them to like me."
Wrong profession.
Then it's time to probably reconsider.
Yeah.
Because, human nature is, how would you want to be? Would you want to be around someone that is going to accept you and love you and care about you and open up those little neurons to learning?
Yes.
Those, or if you have someone that, and kids will tell you, they're honest. They're gonna tell you, that teacher's mean. No me quiere. And maybe you haven't done anything, but maybe it's the way you present yourself. Yeah. And if a child is not open to that, to learning, it's because there's other things to consider, and it's hard.
And
it's hard.
It is. It's not an easy.
It's not an easy job.
It's not an easy. The rewards are great in that you see the students being successful. Mm-hmm. When they come across that stage, I taught elementary. And so I was a principal at elementary. But, you had those fifth graders come all dressed up, ready for graduation. Yeah. So I said, it's not graduation, it's promotion. Exactly. Because you still have to finish middle school, high school, and then you go to college. And then that's graduation.
Exactly.
So then when they come across, and I had the opportunity to have some of my former students graduate from HCC. Wow. So they come across and go, "Ms. Loredo, you were my elementary principal." Aww. And I go, "Yes, and you graduated." So that's a great feeling, just to see them come across the stage, graduate, see the parents, be there for them. And now we have lots of great programs. And we say we have, how you retool yourself? Well, now with this, after the pandemic, some of these jobs are having new roles. So we have opportunities there at the college to retool yourself. Yes. And so take advantage of it. Yes. We also have, I just finished coming from a group of senior home. And so I said, we have college for you too. Over 65, you can go to college. We have free college for over 65. And then they're like, really? You
because
think we
learning
can still learn?
Never ends.
That's right. Confucius says, you stop learning when you die.
When ya te enterraron, ya se acabó allí el rollo. But if you're
terminaste.
alive and breathing, you have so much more to still give. Even if it's for yourself, for your partner, your community, wherever you're at, there's still something to learn and to give.
That's right. And that's one of the reasons that I keep giving, because I said, I went to college so long, I became a teacher, you learn so much, and you need to keep giving it. Keep helping others, mentoring, bringing them up. And I always took pride in that. My teacher assistants, I tell you, you're going to go to college, you're going to become a teacher. The teachers, you're going to go get your master's, you're going to become an administrator. The assistant principal, you're going to become a principal. And then I said, I give you 2 years. 2 years. Okay, that's it.
Let's go.
You can learn it. You can learn it. And so I do have a lot of seeds that I planted out there and that are doing well.
Good.
So they're in good hands.
So you see your garden just flourishing.
Exactly.
So maybe I want to make sure that people understand thoroughly, the trustee's role, because a lot of times we hear that, we see that on the billboards, and for those that are just joining in and maybe like hearing this for the first time, getting involved, kind of break it down to the voter, why they need to go and vote for a trustee. What does that trustee do at HCC Puerto Rico?
Okay. We, on our board, on Houston Community College Board, we have 9 trustees. So we represent different districts. So my district, I always say my district runs like a river because I have the east to west. So I have from my lowest socioeconomic to my highest socioeconomic.
Okay.
So I start on the east side, Federals, Jacinto City.
That's where I grew up. That's my home.
Okay.
Jacinto City, born and raised.
And Galena Park.
Uh-huh.
And then I go through Denver Harbor, Magnolia, North Side, 2nd Ward, downtown, 1st Ward, 6th Ward, Montrose.
Wow.
Then I go all the way to Wesleyan and 59.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, so I try to cover it all.
You
today.
see all different levels.
I needed my helicopter. Because it was, I represent everyone on the board. Yeah. And then I do, throughout the year, go and visit different communities. Because you can't do it all in 1 month, So, but yeah, they're all important. They all have different needs, different wants. And so we just need to make sure that we have. So what we do on the board is, I've been fortunate to be on student success, student academics. So I make sure that we have the classes are there, the opportunities are there, and that we handle the budget. The only person we hire is the chancellor.
Okay.
So people think, we can hire everybody in between. No. We support them all.
Okay.
We support all the faculty, staff, the students. I always say the students are our number one customer. Mm-hmm. So we have to make sure that we have everything available for them. So on the board, we got fiscal, building, we have, contracts come before us, but we just vote on them. We vote. We don't bring those to the table. They go to procurement.
Got it.
So you have, so we look over the academics, and like I said, the budget, making sure that the school is safe, make sure that we have all the buildings, have all the needs that they need, and that we're in all the communities. We want to be fair, and so, when you vote, you need all people to vote, and so we meet twice a month, but we have activities throughout the month.
Okay.
So, and we also have 26 campuses, 6 main locations, but 20 other campuses. So we're like everywhere. We're everywhere. And so there's no excuse of why you can't go to college. And then, like I said, we have partnerships. One of our partnerships is Metro. So they provide transportation for the students with their ID. And so I say you're a Metro ride, a train ride, or a bike ride, or a car ride away.
It's accessible.
It's very,
and
very
you
accessible.
made it accessible and making sure that those opportunities are there. So there's no excuse.
No excuse.
I always tell the students, if you can figure out how to get on TikTok and make a video, if you can figure out how to get on Roblox and figure that out, if you can go on Instagram and post pictures, you can figure this out too.
And right now, because of COVID, the government gave all the colleges and universities money to use for their students, to help them with their education, help them with their tuition and fees. And then, on top of that, students that are at HCC, in fact, this week, I think from the 1st to the 5th, 6th, this week they can use the emergency fund money. There's emergency fund. but you have to be a student enrolled, and they're
Yes.
going to do it again in January. So you still have time to enroll, and you can apply for that money. And then it's like money falling from heaven.
Nice.
It's free.
Okay.
And so I told a few people that I know, and I said, let me know how it goes. And so one of them said, I got $500. And then she wanted to use it for clothing or something. The other one said she put technology. She
Okay.
got $1,000.
Wow.
And I said, that's wonderful.
That's good.
All you have to do is find it in there. Take
you
that
go.
time. Take that time to go into the website for the students.
That's amazing.
So it's there. It's there. This is the opportunity.
This is the time.
Right now to go to school, take advantage of it.
Yes.
And, it's virtual. This is the first week that we're going
Okay.
that we're
Face to
going
face.
back
Okay.
face to face. They're doing the hybrid. They're going to try that and see how it works. So, but the staff has done an amazing job of keeping the buildings clean and safe and
which is my next question: is how are you getting ready for that? For everybody coming back in.
The teachers, they met and they had their Zoom sessions. Yes, también Zoom.
They're zoomed out.
Zoomed out. And so, but they were great. They came through.
Okay.
They provided the classes, and they had a large number of students. It could have been more because a lot of them were at home, and that was the opportunity to study online.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, they didn't. But I said, okay, now you need to make it up.
Yes.
Make it up, and let's move on.
Yes, that's all you can do. One of the things that I do. Whenever I start hearing the talk of we're so behind, oh my, I'm like, stop. The whole world went through this.
Yes.
It's not just us.
Yeah.
We're going to be fine.
Yes.
We're going to be good. We're just going to do what we can, start from where we're at, and all we can do is move forward.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
problem solve. And what a great way to model to students
Yes.
how you move forward from where you're at and how you just problem solve. ¿Qué podemos hacer? Okay, let's figure this out. Okay. This is real life.
Right. And it's important for students to set goals. I always tell them, set your goals in 5-year increments.
Yes.
But some maybe need 1 year. 1 year, okay, get in the door, go to school.
Yep.
And that's, I always say, take someone with you.
Step one. Yeah.
Because we are our biggest fear.
Yes.
We are the ones that, pues no puedo, no
Yes.
sé, no. That's just part of our culture.
Yeah.
So we got to encourage each other and say, yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
And celebrate those little, those little
The little steps, little milestones, the little wins.
baby steps. Celebrate it. And teach your family how to celebrate. I always say education starts at home.
Oh, yeah.
We always said that,
Yes.
but now it's really more important. Education does start at home. It's a family affair. Everybody help each other and move on up. And that's how we're going to do better.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we need to get the people to get out and vote.
Yes. So talk a little bit about
vote.
when, where, how to vote for you, to make sure that they get involved. What does it look like? Because I know we have new voting legislation that went through. It kind of changed things up.
It's not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
I mean, it's we're still going to be able to get out and vote.
Okay.
People already got their ballots. They were able to vote from home or send in their ballots.
Okay.
Register. So the counties send those, and then all you have to do is you got that big white envelope. Make sure you fill it out. Send it back.
Okay.
And it was mostly your 65 and over. They got those, or others that for whatever reason can't go to the ballot. Can't go to the voting area. So, but this early voting starts on the 18th.
Okay. October 18th.
October 18th.
Okay.
And all the way to the 29th. And so it's going to be from 7 to 7, except on Sundays. There's only one weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday.
Okay.
But you must
So no excuse.
No
Saturday
excuse.
and Sunday. Go and vote.
Yes, and take someone with you.
Yes.
Don't go alone.
Yes.
Take your neighbors, your familia. Take them to vote.
Take your
It's
kids
very
too, so
important.
they can see
Yes,
it.
so they can see the
The
process.
process.
And some people say, well, mine's is only one vote. That one adds up. So
yeah.
we need you to go out there. We need you to vote and take people with you.
Yes.
And then the actual day of that it counts is on the November the 2nd. Is when they bring all the votes together and we add them up. You know.
Okay.
So we need to make sure that let's not wait for that one day because it always seems to rain.
Oh my gosh. Look at it. So
Always.
you have how many
So,
days to vote
yeah,
early? Take
we
advantage of that.
Take advantage
And
of
take
it.
a friend, take family, take your kids. I think it's great
Yes.
to model
Yes.
to students.
And so what's going to happen is that you have propositions.
Okay.
The first page is all propositions. But on the next page, that's where you see the trustees. You're going to have the community college trustee and you're going to have the Houston ISD.
Okay.
We're not going to be in all the districts, but look for us to make sure we are in your district. So mine's, I'll be the second one on the ballot and just look Eva Loredo and then you vote.
So now you know, Eva Loredo right here.
Eva Loredo. I'm from the East End, born, raised, still live there, and I just love my community. I love my city, and I love the educating the students.
Yes.
So we need to just keep it going.
One of the things that I created last year was the Passion Project Speaker Series. And I want to ask you, because students, young folks will always see us at our success, but they hardly ever see the journey. And sometimes our students, our young people coming up need to see that it wasn't always a perfect journey. What in you becoming the principal, amazing leader, now in the community, being a trustee, what was a major challenge or something where you learned from and it kept you going?
Well, my mom and my dad, they were the ones that said, you got to go to school, you got to learn, you got to do well, because we went the job route. We work, always work. And so now y'all have the opportunity to go study and be the one that we dreamed of being, but we didn't. And so, they pushed us. My parents pushed I have 6 brothers and myself.
Wow.
And so they were there. They were making sure that
all together.
Yes. So I was in
the
middle.
only girl.
3 older, me. And so I say my brothers trained me for that teacher.
Oh my gosh.
But they were amazing. They were very supportive of me, and my parents were too. And so, but I remember in 4th grade that the principal was going to take us on a trip to see something from Texas. I don't know, Washington on the Brazos or something having to do with Texas. Because we studied Texas history in 4th grade. And so, I don't know, it might have been $5. And my mom said, no, we don't have $5. You can't go. Well, the principal said, you know what, I'll let you go and then you pay me, as we go, through the month. Yeah. So I always remembered that there was that principal that cared enough about his students because he knew that trip was going to make an impact. Yeah. And so I made sure that I carried that forward as a teacher and as a principal. Yeah. I had opportunities for the students. Now, in becoming a principal, I didn't want to leave the classroom because I was enjoying the classroom so much. Yes. But my principal said, we're recruiting bilingual teachers because we need more bilingual principals. And so I said, I don't want to go. I'm good right here. I'm good.
I'm fine. I'm good.
No. Just imagine. Just think. So the first day that we went to college at Clear Lake, then mid-management class, the instructor said, okay, well, welcome. Instead of impacting 25 students, now you're going to impact 200, 900, 1,200. So, and I thought, wow, that's really true.
It's true.
So that was, again, somebody else was there to help push you. and push you and build that confidence
Yes.
in you. And
Yes.
so that's why I, in turn, love to do that now.
To
Yeah.
pass it on,
Yeah,
pay it
pass it
forward.
on.
And you and I have a parallel story. When I became an assistant principal, it wasn't because I was ready to leave the classroom. I was at Clear Lake too, doing the mid-management, and the professor said, "You guys need to learn how to interview. So that's your assignment." So was we all interviewed, and I ended up getting a position. And I was like, "But I'm not ready to leave." And I went to my professor, Dr. Henry. I still remember him. He was a superintendent up in Crosby, I think. And I said, "Dr. Henry, I got offered a job. What? I thought that we were just supposed to go and interview just to see what it was like." And next thing you know, he's like, "Do it." I've only been a teacher for like 4 years. Do it. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So I said yes. And then next thing I was, I was an assistant principal for 3 years, and then a principal for like 3 years, and then I was like, okay. And that's what I do now is I tell people, just do it. You'll be fine. You surround yourself with people that you can trust and learn from. Maybe remember how you said for the senior citizens, you said there's something for you to learn at HCC. I would always share the teachers. The best teachers are the ones that remain students. If we remain students of life, we're going to be good.
That's right. Yeah.
So final words for your audience about Eva Loredo. This is your chance to give your little commercial about you, why vote for you, and when to vote for you. So I'm gonna say Lenny Canales. Take it away. Take it away, Eva.
Okay. Well, you heard my story, and so I just again remind you that I've been in education for over 40 years now, counting my years on the community college, and so I still have that energy, I have that passion, and I love reaching out to the community, working with the community. And so I will continue to be your voice on the board. I will continue to reach out to you, and you call me too. And so again, making sure that at Houston Community College we have classes that are affordable, available, and be there for you. So, and vote Eva Loredo.
Yes, you heard it.
Vote.
I get what that.
I wanted to let you know also that it was important to me that we did have, I did push many of our students, my workers, to go to college. Try it. And then there were some that they just couldn't, for some reason, because they had obligations at home, they had children, they had husbands that did not want them to go to college. So I said, okay, then you become the best you can be.
Yes.
So I would send them to trainings, during the day because they had to go home and be a mom. But during the day, I made sure that they were the best they could be. Even the custodians, we need them. So I said, we're a team. When I first went to that school, they would look down on the floor and I would say, "Buenos dias, how are you?" And they would look. I said, "What are you talking about?" No, we're not supposed. I said, "Yes." I said, "We all need each other.
Yes.
We all need each other. We're a team, and we're going to make this the best school in the East because you are going to help." And that's always been my motto, is to be the best. And many of those people, I see them now, and they're, the custodians are now plant operators.
Nice.
The teacher assistants are teachers. The secretaries or clerks then became the head secretaries. So they all moved up. I'm like that movie, the Jeffersons.
I love it.
Moving
Moving on up.
So,
and that's what it should always be. There's every role is so important. I would always remember that I was told by my mentor that I, dearly miss because he passed away from COVID a year ago. But Ms. Redenas was one that always told me the people you need to connect with first are the school secretaries, the administrators that are there. They're the ones that really run the school. The people that clean, and the cafeteria ladies.
Exactly.
That's who you need to make sure you connect with. That's the people that run everything. Everything else, it'll fall into place.
So again, we say, si se puede,
Si se puede.
si se quiere.
Oh, I never heard that one. Si
Si
se puede, si se quiere. I like that.
So, vámonos, hacerlo.
There you go.
Move on up. Let's do it.
So I know you still probably, I don't know if you still have to hit some more night outs because today is National Night Out. It's Tuesday, National Night Out. And for those of you that are just connecting and listening, we are sitting on the patio of Napoli's Wine and Cafe on 4601 Washington. And they have an amazing patio. If you want to come out, have a glass of wine, have some Italian food. And also, I'm going to be here on Tuesdays to do my show. So you can come in. If you're a guest, you can sit here on the patio with me. If you want to just come out and hang out, there's great food, great drinks. And you had a chance to get to meet Eva Loredo up close. And I remember meeting you for the first time, I want to say, at a food distribution that Representative Cristina Morales, I believe, put on at your campus.
At HCC.
Yes. And I remember you were there, and that's before the bullpen.
Yeah.
No, it was during the pandemic because that's what we had it. Yeah.
We were all wearing masks.
We were wearing our masks.
We were there in the rain and all.
Yes, the rain, the heat, just making sure that you were there. You were there, literally putting, either food or back to school items or whatever in the trunks of people's cars.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
what
important
this is
to
about.
be involved. It's you don't. There's people that are there for the pictures, and there's people that are there for the job.
No, and she was there sweating. She was there sweating like bullets. We were all there sweating bullets, carrying stuff, packing it into people's cars because you not only talk the talk, but you literally walk the walk.
And it helps. You knew there was a need.
Yeah.
And you knew that the people were so appreciative.
Yes.
So we need to continue doing those activities and helping our community.
All right. Well, here we are. Thank you so much for coming. I know you're super busy getting out there, making sure people are voting. You look amazing. So thank you so much, Eva, for stepping into the arena, honestly, because that's a tough one sometimes.
Yeah.
Is to be out there and put yourself out there. You're in the public eye, but it takes an amazing spirit and person and experience to do it. And so I want to say you got to vote for Eva.
Yes.
And
I have a good team behind me.
Yeah.
You can't do it without a team, family, or friends, or community. So they've always been there for me, and so you got to do it.
Pues adelante.
Yes.
Don't forget, early voting starts October 18th. Do it. Take a friend, take a comadre, take the students, take somebody with you, and make sure that your voice is heard. And that way she can step into the arena and be the voice for you and for us. So thank you so much. All right. Okay, hug.
All right. Yes.
All right. El abrazo. So we're going to have our next guest coming up soon. She's getting ready. She's in the green room back here, and she's going to join us soon. And this is another amazing woman, an amazing voice of La Comunidad, who's going to be joining me here live at the patio on 4601 Washington, here at Napoli's Wine and Cafe. And if you're just joining, don't forget that the show repeats every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning and again at 10 o'clock at night. So join me right now. We're on live. You can go back and watch the recording. Go to Facebook, like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, go to Instagram, follow us there as well. We're also, I believe, in the Twitter world. We're also out there on YouTube. So you get a chance to not just hear our voices, but you get a chance to see the people. So I'm blessed, and I'm here to bring on my next guest. She's getting ready to come on. She's been an amazing woman, an amazing educator. She's an amazing mom, and she is seeking re-election for her current position. So we're gonna have her come and join us soon. She's getting ready, but in the meantime, just don't forget to another thing. We're here at the patio of Napoli's Wine and Cafe. Businesses right now are open, and if you still feel you need to have your distance, you want to be in an open air space, Napoli's is the place to be. There's a great wraparound patio that you can sit outside and just enjoy these October evenings, especially right now. Have a glass of wine. I got mine right here. Or a beverage of your choice, like water. And, you can sit out here. I've seen people stop by, open up their laptops, do some work. I've seen dates. I've seen families pass by with their kids. I've seen people show up and get their to-go and take it home. So Napoli's is here for all of your needs. So join me too if you want to. You can be in the background and just enjoying your food and listening to the report of La Comadre Claudia show here for RadioCrystalUSA.com. All right, Miss Holly. Come on down. And we now have our next guest. She's been making her way over. And I need to move the table a little bit so we can have some. A ver, my super comadre is about to join us. Come around over here. I want to make sure that you make your way.
So,
Oh my gosh, you got a little surprise?
I do.
Oh my gosh! Come in, a ver, cabeza aquí.
Do I wear a shirt or no? Or mujer fuerte?
I like
have
mujer
one for you.
fuerte. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. We still have the ones that we got from the first time you were out there
You
hitting the
do?
pavement. My daughters still wear them.
Are you serious?
Yes. Están todas faded, but we still wear them.
There you go.
Now I'm
There's
gonna
one
share.
to refresh.
Oh my God! Now we can refresh our stash. So I'm gonna put it right. I'm gonna put it right here. Everybody can see it.
There, thank you,
Okay.
Claudia.
Okay, so come and join us. This is my next super mujer fuerte. Show your shirt. I want everyone to see your shirt. And actually, I want to put your shirt back here. You know, aquí. Put it right here, and then bring it down a little bit. I feel like I just washed clothes, and I'm in Jacinto City drying my clothes. There we go. Perfect backdrop. Okay, so I'm super excited to have you on. It's been a while. It's been a while, right? I remember the last time I saw you was we were celebrating, I think, Nico's birthday? No, whose birthday? Elizabeth Santos' baby's birthday. We were behind you in the parade.
Birthday, and it was a car parade.
It was a car parade.
Last year, and it was.
No sabíamos que iba a pasar, but we still wanted to celebrate
We did.
because that's how Latinos roll.
That's right.
You know, there's a 1-year-old birthday, and we gotta show.
It was
We gotta
fun.
show up, pandemic or no
We were
pandemic.
decorating our cars
Yes.
in the parking lot. Yeah, you had some tape. You helped me.
We did. It was a cocoa. It was a cocoa theme.
It was.
And it was an amazing event that just parading down the streets and just making a big deal for Morris, his first year birthday, which by the way, Elizabeth Santos is also out there campaigning. But I want to focus on you today, Holly. I've known you for such a long time. I feel like you're one of my little flowers out there doing your thing. And I'm so proud of you. I am so honored to be sitting next to you and to see the amazing work that you have done for Houston ISD as being a school board member, which is not an easy job. You don't get paid $1 million. That's how much it gets paid. And so I just want the public and público to get to know you, why it's important to come out and vote during this time, why it's important to pay attention to the role that you have and why you need to come back to it. But first, just share a little bit about Holly. ¿Quién eres tú? ¿De dónde eres? ¿Cómo llegaste a este puesto? We can do it in English, and if you want to do a little bit in Spanish, because we can be Spanglish.
Así está bien. Así está bien.
Sí.
It's so good to be here with you too. I know a very special place in my heart and in my, I guess, formación.
Sí.
When I was an educator on the front lines, as a pre-K teacher back in the day. I mean, Claudia's known me for many, many, many years, and I was really honored to have worked alongside you.
And I with you.
It was a very special time.
It was. I couldn't have done it without her.
And likewise, I couldn't have done it without nothing. So thank you for believing in me.
Of course.
When you hired me a long time ago to work as one of your pre-K teachers back in the day. So it's like that was 15 years ago.
It was just like, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
We still
maybe
look like
5.
Okay, yeah, takeaways now. But yes, it was an amazing journey. And earlier I spoke with Eva Loredo, who was the principal herself, and that was a tough gig. But I surrounded myself with people that I knew were the right people, and you were one of those right persons. From the moment I met you, I'm like, okay, this is someone I need, and that doesn't come often. And I've watched you blossom, I've watched you grow, and I almost feel like a mom, like I'm watching my kiddos like be those butterflies and just fly and run with it and go with it. And I saw you, and you were just amazing. You had your teaching partner, you guys hit it off. The students just learned so much. Every time I walked into that room, every time I was able to see the kids in action, it was just, it was love, it was academics, it was, you know, problem solving, and the relationships that you had with your teaching partner and that you had with your students.
It was beautiful. So now if you don't know me, you can tell I was an educator here. So when I came to Houston a long time ago, I was a pre-K and early childhood bilingual and dual language educator and also a kindergarten teacher as well. I taught for 6 years and it was a wonderful experience and it shaped so much of who I am today and the role that I play as a school board member, which is much different, but it's not because I'm here with the same mission to make sure that we offer an equitable and quality education across all of our campuses for all of our children. And having had that experience on the front lines as a teacher is super important. Just knowing that I have the mind and heart of a teacher, and I'm a mother of an HISD student now as well, is important. It carries a lot of weight, and just know that, you know, what I would want for my child or for my students when I was a teacher is what I would want for every student in the entire district. And that's why I'm here serving in this capacity. That, along with the, you know, my lifetime, like my personal story, you know, as I was the last of 6 and the first to go to college in my family. And education for me was definitely a game changer. And if it wouldn't have been for some opportunities, I don't know where I would have been. But you know, the statistics would say that it wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm very grateful for having had the opportunity. Estoy muy agradecida por tener esa oportunidad de servir en esta capacidad para la ciudad de Houston y para los estudiantes de la comunidad. Muy orgullosa y muy agradecida. So, super, 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 super lucky. And it starts with early childhood.
Yes, definitely. That's the building block right there.
Early childhood, you know.
You saw it, we saw it. We know how rough that is.
Yes,
but it's the most important block because that's the entry point. So speak on that.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think that was one of the game changers for me in my personal formación, right? As a student, as a child as well, because that, compared to my other siblings, I was the only one that had a pre-K education, right? And my mom found out about a little Methodist pre-K program, you know, for a few hours a day, but it was through a mentor that she had, and, you know, enrolled me. And so I had an earlier start, and I was reading at that time in kindergarten. Kindergarten was half day then.
Oh, yes, I remember those days.
It was half day. But, you know, like, that was a game changer for me. And there's so much research that shows the importance of early childhood education, you know, being able to have the opportunity to interact with other students, with a teacher, with an educator that fosters a really caring, joyful environment. You get to learn social skills, you get to learn vocabulary, you get to read stories. It's a lot of fun to teach, and it should be a lot of fun for students. Just lots of love and joy, and just building confidence and helping to give them like really good guidance early on to help them be successful, and then understanding that there are the pathways. So we are in HRC are expanding our early childhood programs. Unfortunately, the state wasn't fully funding early childhood education.
Okay.
And now there are some goals that the state has from House Bill 3 that really puts an emphasis on early literacy and math as far as making sure our kids are ready by 3rd grade. And so making sure that we're able to build down and build up from an early childhood stance, that we're preparing our kids so that they are ready. So that they're successful. You know?
And like you said, it starts in the early grades. Like, I know that we have like the state test. I know that that's accountability to the MAC, but we need to make sure, like you said, I love what I'm hearing, making sure that we start from the lower grades, because magic doesn't happen in the 3rd grade. Magic needs to start happening in the lower grades, and you having that voice and making sure that you put that experience out there is so needed, because you've been there, you've seen it, you know what it's like to be with the little ones, you know what it's like that, you see the needs. And now as a mom, even, you know, seeing that in your own child, did you ever find yourself guinea pigging your kid, like using them as a guinea pig, like, well, I'm going to try what I used to do with my students and then you're like, oh, this stuff works.
Guilty.
Right? I did the same thing
Guilty.
too. Like all the trainings that I would go to, I'm like, I'm gonna try to mic it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff really does work. I mean, I did it with my students, but then I'm like, I can you now as a mom, it's such a that was a game changer for me. Was all the things that I promoted with like you guys and education as a school leader or as a teacher myself. I did it because either you were told you had to do it, or you went to the training and you had to fulfill it, and there was success. But then when you do it with your own stuff, your own kid, you're like, this is really good stuff.
Absolutely.
So when you stepped into this role of school board, and when we say HISD, I want to make sure that truck just passed by. It's Houston. That we're talking about Houston ISD. And when you stepped into this role, I believe you were carrying out the end of someone else's term.
Yes.
Correct.
I was originally appointed back in 2017.
That's right.
There was a process in December. It was either November or December where my predecessor had announced that he was stepping down. There was 1 year left on his term. He had moved to another area of the city. We're single member district, so you actually have to live in the area that you represent to be able to serve.
Okay.
And 9 people at that time applied to be a board member. 3 were selected for an interview, and the Board of Education named me as an appointee for 1 year, the 1 year left.
Okay.
So as soon as I became a board member, I was learning the work of a trustee, which has to do with lots of governance. We're held responsible for a large, massive budget, $2.2 billion worth of our mostly local taxpayer dollars, to be able to be used towards students in the best way possible, and to be able to hold our superintendent accountable for delivering on the promise of equitably educating all of our students and delivering on academic outcomes. So it was a big responsibility. It was amazing coming in, but I was also knew that I had 1 year and I wanted to continue my service, so I had to learn how to run a campaigin
While you're doing
while
this.
I was doing
Wow.
while I had a 1 year,
1-year-old baby at home.
Who's now in
Porque
kindergarten.
eres mujer fuerte,
Yes,
like your shirt says.
yes, we are. As well.
Yes.
Working and
So you're figuring out the role, plus figuring out a campaign. And I love right now how you broke it down, because many times when you see the push cards, and I want you to show them right now for the people that are watching, when they see the billboards, they see the push cards, sometimes a mom or maybe they don't have a child in school, and they say to themselves, I don't need to vote. I don't really have a kid in the district, or why should I vote? It doesn't really matter. It's just one voice. It's just one vote. So I love right now how you broke it down when you said when we come together as a board, we make sure we hold the superintendent accountable for the goals. It sounds like the goals that are set out, as a team, like this is where the direction we need to go, and you're there to make sure that happens.
Yeah, that's our main responsibility. We also have another employee who's our chief audit executive too. So we have 2 employees, and we have board goals that we set for the superintendent. And the superintendent is also evaluated on the board goals that we set. And then we're progress monitoring the performance of the district, which is his performance or her performance, through on a monthly basis. So we talk about student outcome data at each of our board meetings. Some of them are progress measures that the goals are broken down into goal progress measures, and the constraints into constraint progress measures. It's a whole governance framework that we do have in place, and we're closely monitoring that progress. And we're looking for indicators that will, for the progress measures that will point to success towards the overall goal. So that's a big piece of the work that we do. And we have we evaluate those goals every 4 to 5 years. We make sure that the priorities are aligned with the budget, or the superintendent needs to make sure that the priorities are aligned with our goals so that everything is well funded to be able to meet the goals, right? So that's extremely important. And then our constraints, it's something that's where our values are. So we value sexual emotional supports in HISD now more than ever. But we
now more than
2017.
Under Superintendent Carranza, that's when it started. And that was the SEL department, Social Emotional Learning. Did I say it right?
Yes, social emotional learning. But there's there's several departments that support that work.
Okay.
So We have a wraparound service specialist. One of the goals that we had is that by 2022 we'll have a wraparound service specialist at each one of our 280 plus campuses that will mobilize resources local to the community for each student that's in need in a real-time kind of way. So we have a software kind of platform that the wraparound service specialists use to identify the students, flag what their needs are based on certain indicators. It could be attendance, it could be tardies, it could be something that the teacher identifies that, you know, a student may be extra hungry or is coming with not the school uniform. Maybe there needs to be washer needs to be replaced. So there are lots of different indicators there, and then the wraparound service specialist can mobilize resources, additional meals, sent food at home, counseling psychological services, and it's something that's really, really important, especially now because we have, as a community, we've gone through so many traumatic experiences. We've gone through Hurricane Harvey together. We've gone through the freeze, the pandemic. You know,
What's next?
One thing after the next, right? And our community has really been hit with a lot of traumatic experiences, multiplied economic downturn, you know, deaths in the family due to COVID. A lot of our students live in multi-generational, intergenerational households, right? And so it's been challenging. So making sure that our students are taken care of socially, emotionally, along with basic needs such as food, right? So that they can be able to take in the academics and being sensitive to that. That's something that we really do prioritize in the district, something that I'm proud of.
Good.
Invested in.
Because a kid can't learn if their stomach is growling. A kid is not able to learn if they're focused on what am I wearing, it's not clean, I don't feel comfortable. And when a brain is focused on hunger and not feeling comfort, you can forget about the academics.
That's right.
And it's like you said, especially, there goes another trope, especially now with COVID and having come out of it, is making sure that the wraparound services are there. I have a number of friends who are actually in that role, and it's just it's so rewarding, and these are people that are connected to the community, so right away they can call so and so and so and so, and stuff shows up. But to create that and for it to be, you know, handled and carried out, especially, it's almost like it was meant to be, because we're now making sure that kids are coming back and they're okay. Because, you know, one of the things that I've noticed, and I have a dream job right now. I'm actually in the library. I'm kind of the librarian, but not really, but I'm fine with it. I'm the literacy specialist, but I'm good. It didn't work. You know, I roll with stuff. You know me, Holly. You know, we can say we're going with this, and then it goes sideways to the left or to the right. I'm like, okay, what are we doing now? Okay, let's make it work. So now it's become a place where it's a library, and all I'm doing is focusing on the love of reading and writing with the Rice University Storytelling Project. Yes,
that's awesome.
Yes, I have middle schoolers doing the typing.
Oh, I love it.
I have them creating the anthology online. Then I have the little ones who were taking their stories, and I'm teaching the older kids how to sit with the younger kids and listen to their story and type it or write it. Yeah. And then teaching them how to also have them draw their pictures so they can be the illustrators. So now we really have a publishing house in this library.
I love it.
So, and then I have some new literacy specialists come in from the district saying, we have this literary diary or newsletter online, and we need some entries. And I'm like, great, because I got some stories. So it's all coming together.
I love it.
But we focus on conversations, human interaction, and the stories that we're getting, it's all what they've gone through. And I know that some of them are fiction, but you can tell there's realistic fiction. You know that whatever they're saying about death and dying, maybe they're talking about their doggy or their puppy or their kitty or something, you know, but they bring in elements that I have a feeling have something to do with whatever they experience at home. And it's a human interaction, and what you guys are promoting, it's just amazing, because especially coming back right now, that's the hardest thing for all teachers, is how to get kids to reprogram their brains to be with humans versus to be with iPads. And I want to say my kids were on iPads too, because I was trying to teach. And I would send my kids to their next room, go online, go to class. And then they didn't show up to class online. And then I would get a call on the down low, and I'm over here trying to teach my students. And then the teacher's like, "Where's your kid?" I'm like, "They're right there in front of me in the next room. They should be online." Well, they're not online. And then I would mute myself and then yell across the house, "Your teacher's calling me. You need to get online." "We're here, Mom. They just can't see us." "Well, you better figure it out because they can't see you." So I know that my kids probably need some counseling.
I know.
Yes, Holly.
I had my student, or my son,
Yeah.
in virtual all last year.
Yeah.
All last year. He was pre-K. Virtual.
Oh my gosh.
Extremely hard.
I can imagine what that was like.
Extremely hard.
Did you tie him down to the chair to be
Pete. And at first when he knew that he was going back to school in person this year,
yeah,
he's like, "I want to go to school on the iPad. I want to go to school on the iPad." I'm like, "Well, you're going to have to take up that complaint with the governor."
There you go. Pobrecito.
But no, once he's there, I mean, he's loving it.
Oh, yeah.
He's loving it.
Yeah.
The highlight of his day is the after school program.
Of course. And then snack.
Yeah, and snacks. But not lunch, but snacks.
Snack time is the highlight. Snack and after school program. But don't ask them what happened between 8 and 7:30 and 2:30. That's doesn't really matter. But it's amazing when you highlight that because it's what matters most for kids. Making sure that they're not hungry, making sure that they're comfortable, making sure that wherever they're at, that they feel that they can do what they need to do. And on the flip side of the teachers, what maybe I don't know if you can speak on this, but what are some things maybe I don't know about that I can actually share? What is out there for teachers that they can, access to as well? Because a lot of them have been through some issues. Me, coming back in person, coming back trying to stay healthy, coming back trying to recover from either financial losses. Maybe they were out for COVID for months, and that made a financial impact, or maybe there's loss of a family member. What is there, for a teacher in general, maybe the HISD, Houston ISD, or in general, that teachers can have access to as well?
There needs to be more.
Okay, you heard it.
There needs to be more. I mean, our teachers have gone through a lot. Many of our teachers, depending on which school they were teaching in last year, they were teaching both face-to-face and virtual.
Me.
True. It didn't happen in all cases, but and how we are set up in HISD, it would differ from one school to the next. And a lot of our teachers experienced burnout. Many went to early retirement. Many, were going to take some time off and reevaluate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Extremely difficult time for teachers. I mean, I know that we put in place a few retention stipends, and we've given some raises. We need to do our share in making sure that that's something that we continue to increase and really critically look at, because our teachers need to be valued, underpaid for what the responsibility is great of a teacher, right?
Yes.
And last year was extremely, and actually last 2 years. I mean, we're going into year 3.
Yeah, this is your
academic year,
yes.
right? For while we're under this COVID situation, and it's been extremely tolling.
Yeah. We have not had a normal year probably in the last 3 years now. And it's and one thing I caution, since I'm in the literacy specialist or library specialist, whatever you want to call it, and people know that I've done the principal job in the past, and they stop by. They're like, "What would you have done?" Or "What do you think about this?" I just listen, and well, what do you think you could do? What do you think you should do? And then if I have a source, which is what I gather, I feel like I'm a wraparound the teacher source, and I'm like, well, maybe you should try this, or I heard about this, or some teachers. I do what students. Some kids, some teachers, and it's whatever I find and I share. And there are some that have sat on my couch. I have a couch in my library, and I have a rocking chair. And I tell the teachers, I go, hey, you need to come in, turn off the lights. Nobody's in here. Chill out for 10, 15 minutes before you go back. And they'll share. I think it's time for me to go. And I'm like, whatever you feel you need to do. You need to take care of you and you first. Of course, right now your responsibility is the kids, but take care of you long term. What is it that you want? Is this for you? Is this not for you? Have you tried? What have you tried to feel like this is for you? And if it's not, don't feel obligated. Don't feel bad. You need to find what's best for you. And so, but if there's a resource, I will always, share it with them, give it to them, because it's been rough. I don't even think I would be there. I probably would have walked home. But I'm blessed right now where I'm in the position I am in because I see all the kids. Pero regresan con su maestra. And so I'm just there to inspire and to motivate and to get them on the school-wide, get them back into literacy and literature and human interaction, so that my goal is that when they go back to the classroom, they carry something of that, that, I'm being listened to, my stories mean something, I'm valued for what I'm saying.
Words have power.
Yes, words have power. And I'm just there to support. I'm supporting the teachers with the students and with me, and then I'm supporting them. Hey, there's a couch, there's a rocking chair, and that's here's some water. That's all I can do. But yeah, I mean, we just lost our nurse. Our nurse retired. She said, I'm not coming back. And again, it's like whatever you need to do, whatever you need to do. So your role is super important. We now have a superintendent.
We do.
So talk about that new person coming in, which I'm very familiar with. I don't know if you met him before. I have.
Have you?
I have in the past. Yes.
Oh yes, you probably have.
Yes.
I have.
How is it going?
No, we're super excited. So first of all, we've been through a bumpy road.
Yes.
Not just with this COVID and the recovery stuff, but also as our battling our existence as a public school district that has local representation, held accountable to our community here in Houston, right? Things have smoothed out some, right? We're fighting it in the courts. We're 3-0 as far as wins are concerned, which is great, but every time we have a win, there's a bit of an appeal. So that's just playing it out in the courts. But one of the things that we were awarded was a restraining order against the state, which allowed us to be able to move forward with the superintendent, hiring a permanent superintendent.
Good, which is why we
embarked on a national search, and we have a new permanent superintendent in town who's been here for almost 3 months now. His name's Millard House II. We're super excited about what he brings to Houston, given his background in education, like 20 some odd years of experience. He's from Tulsa, Oklahoma originally, was a teacher, was a principal, deputy superintendent, worked up the ranks in Tulsa through like a traditional kind of way, but still has a little bit of overlap in networks that's a little bit more national and like innovative thinking, which is pretty cool as well. And he's also served as a chief operating officer, so he knows the ops side, which is incredibly important. I didn't say this earlier, but we're a huge organization in HSD. We have 27,000 employees. Half of them are teachers, almost half.
Wow.
280 plus schools, very robust and dynamic system that we have here in Houston. And so he's very well-rounded. He's very passionate about this work, and we unanimously supported him when he came on as superintendent. And I think that we have a very bright future here in Houston.
Good.
Very, very, very excited about this next chapter.
Nice. And we're coming into this pandemic year, and still, it's like you need to move forward with what's going to bring, what's going to smooth out those bumps. And bumps are going to happen. I always share that. It's going to happen in your classroom. It's going to happen in a wide scale. It's what we continue doing. And you guys have set the course, and y'all set the table, and y'all said, okay, this is who we need. You were able to fight back and get the restraint. I didn't even know about that. Now I understand all the ins and outs, which is now what we're hearing, why it's important to make sure you vote. On October the 18th, early voting, why you need to make sure you have people like Holly on that board at the table, making sure that that voice is there to talk about the needs in pre-K, to talk about the needs in, budgeting needs. If we're going to say we want something, we want this goal, well, money needs to be attached to it. And we have someone that's been in the classroom that has the experience that can put that voice out there. This is why it's important to vote, whether you have a kid in the district or not. Because if you live in this neighborhood, if you live in Houston, at some point, the students that have gone through HISD are either going to be working for you, with you, in your business. It might be your nurse, might be your teacher, might be your doctor, might be your police officer, might be your lawyer, might be the person even serving your food. You don't know how this student will cross your path. So you want to make sure that you get involved and you vote, you get the right people re-elected to put that voice out there, because these students are going to be affected one way or another. By not voting, by not being part of the solution, by even putting people in place or keeping people in place, that's going to come back. Because then we're going to have students that are not going to be filled or fulfilled with the things that they need. So this is why it's super important to get involved with voting, whether you have a child in the district or not. If your kids are in a private school, it doesn't even matter if they're in a private school or not. The children that go to the public schools, at one point they're going to be out there in the world, and we got to make sure that they're out there and they're prepared either for college or career or starting a business or ACC or Central College, whatever, because they're the ones that are going to be filling the ranks. We are the energy capital of the world. Medical center is down the street. Energy corridor. We have people coming in from the west, coming to Austin, to nearby, to set up the new Silicon Valley. We need to make sure that our students, our kids that are coming out of our neighborhood schools, have the ability to step into these roles and to fulfill their goals, their life, their dreams. So I want to say that I am super honored and proud of you, Holly, and I cannot wait to see what is to come of HISD and Houston ISD, and all of the innovative programs and experience that the new superintendent is bringing in. I'm excited. I had a chance to meet him a year after I went through my training to open up my school. He came to visit us at Dream, but I don't think we saw him.
Really?
Yeah. He came. There was no school yet. I think there was like temporary buildings. He came out, and I remember it was during the startup year. It was during the startup year.
So it was maybe while
I was at Shine.
Oh, you were at Shine.
I was at Shine, and he came to Shine while I was in my startup year, and I was describing to him that we were going to be at 3D, and there were no buildings yet. And he was looking at me like, there's no buildings there, you're recruiting people? I'm like, yes. I'm recruiting people, and there's no building. But that's how this works. And I remember him looking at me like, okay. And so and when I saw his name come across the board, I'm like, why does this name look so familiar? And I started researching. I'm like, now I know who it was.
Oh,
I met him at Shine when he came when I was still in startup year. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna be good.
Oh,
so I was like, okay, and we're gonna be fine. And as long as we have voices and people that are going to push back. And I think that's what is needed all the time as well. Pushing back is not a negative thing. It's accountability. It's bringing voices to the table, and it's reminding people like, hey, we said we're going to do this. How does this tie with the goals? How does that money that we're going to spend tie with the goals? Because if we don't have someone there to do that, then that's where things go sideways. And we are we the fourth largest district?
We were the 8th. Or we were the 7th, but now we slipped an enrollment.
Okay.
Hey, kids out there, come back to
yes.
HISD.
Yes.
We slipped an enrollment some. So we're now the 8th largest.
The 8th largest. It's still
largest
pretty big.
in Texas.
Largest in Texas, but 8? It's pretty big for all of the public schools that we have out there. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited in the position I'm in, and I'm excited to see what's ahead. And just as we close out, I just want you to just take this time, Holly, to just look into the camera. This is your time to do your infomercial or your commercial. I'm going to turn it to you. So I want you to pitch yourself, why we should vote for you, why re-elect Holly, Flynn Villaseca back to the table and be the voice. Take it away.
Thank you. hey, you've heard a little bit about my story. You know that I'm extremely passionate about the students. Education is extremely important, so that they come, go through our system, feel supported, come out having been prepared, so that they are college or career ready, right? So, I'm a mother of an HISD student. I was a teacher. I've supported teachers. I worked in the nonprofit space. I work in the corporate space. So I have lots of years of experience in this. And it's increasingly important right now, more than ever, to have an experienced voice on the board that really is here for the right reasons and truly cares about our kids and community, and that's me. If you live in District 6, I hope to have your support. If you don't, we're knocking on doors every weekend through Election Day, November 2nd. So this Saturday, vengan a mi pueblito restaurant que queda en La Llanera con Richmond. So it's a Colombian restaurant.
Porque eres colombiana.
Sí. So we will be there at 9 a.m. on Saturday with volunteers and turf and desayuno. So come out and support us and hit some turf and knock on doors to get the word out that there's even an election, and that I am the best and most qualified candidate here for the right reasons, wanting to make sure that our community is best served by our strong public education system. I'm committed to that. So I hope to see you. And again, the day afterwards, during the week, we'll be hitting them at the doors as well. You can find information on my website, www.hollyforhisd.com, and estoy disponible. Estaría disponible. Reach me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, @HMFB1. And I hope to have your support. If you live in District 6, I'll give, there's a map, but Highway 6, south of the Bayou, north of Westheimer, going in towards Beltway 8, in a little bit more towards Gessner, and going down into Piney Point, so Energy Corridor, Piney Point, and Sharpstown and Glenshire area.
Y ella habla español también, un poquito en español para que la comunidad sepa que si un problema o quizás quieren ir a hablar y poner los papás, ¿verdad? Quieren ponerse enfrente de la mesa directiva, que hay personas que ellos se pueden con quién comunicar en español, porque a lo mejor los papás no quieren ir por el lenguaje, ¿verdad? Pero tú estás allí no solamente con la voz en inglés,
pero también en español. Yo soy bilingüe, ya saben que yo soy colombiana, colomboamericana, y ya estoy aquí también representante preocupada por los niños que llegan aquí por primera vez a este país, o los papás son inmigrantes y no saben cómo manejar el sistema, cómo comunicarse bien. Estoy aquí como su voz, y estoy muy orgullosa de mi herencia también. Y también para que sepan que estoy aquí luchando por ustedes, porque también yo soy de la misma tela, entonces para que sepan.
Ya escucharon aquí. Vayan a votar. Las votaciones tempranas empiezan el 18 de octubre y están abiertas las casillas de 7 a 7. También hay un sábado, hay un domingo también donde pueden ir a votar. Y el día de las elecciones es el 2 de noviembre. Pero es mejor ir antemano, porque el 2 de noviembre siempre, como dijo Eva Loredo, siempre llueve ese día. Mejor vayan antes, pueden ir y lleven a alguien con ustedes. Take someone with you. Lleven a sus estudiantes, los niños, para que ellos puedan ver lo importante de ir a votar y cómo es el proceso de votar. No pueden votar todavía, pero para que vean, porque cuando uno lo hace con los niños, ellos van a ver lo importante que es votar. And so it's super important. Take your kids, take a neighbor, take la comadre, take students, that way they can see the importance, the process of voting, and why voting matters and why voting counts. And it's all about accountability. And they're there to represent, to put their voice out there on our behalf. But if we don't tell them what our concerns are, then they don't know what to say and how to support us. But they're out there in the community with town halls. I know there's virtual town halls too.
Yeah.
There's ways for you to go to the board and sign up and speak on issues or bring up an issue. I mean, this is what it's about. It's about making sure that we have people that are going to take that information, going to make the best decisions based overall on the needs of the community, of the schools, and that's what you're here for. So thank you. And she's a busy mom. and
como ustedes.
And working as well, and she gets paid. I think, how much do you get paid for this?
Sí,
That's how much you get paid. So she's doing this because she knows that this is a position that needs to be taken care of. It needs to be honored. It needs to be represented well. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
super excited for you.
Thank
Gracias.
you for the opportunity.
Sí.
Gracias a ti.
Gracias. Yo sé que todavía no lo vas a terminar. Le sigues. Because it's not over yet.
Nope.
Nope.
We've got 1 month for election time.
Yes.
And 4 more years after that.
And 4 more years. And then right now you're going to go home. And it's not over yet.
No.
Because you're still involved too.
That's right. But I did pack the lunch before I
There
came
you
here.
go.
Ya comimos antes
Qué bueno, qué bueno, qué
de que
bueno.
llegara aquí.
Sí.
Y Nico ya debe estar dormido.
Ya debería estar dormido. Ya debería. But you know how it rolls sometimes. You're like, why? You get home and you're like, why are they still awake?
Yep.
And why are they eating candy?
Sí,
You know what? At those times, you really can't complain. You're like, you know what? As long as the kid's alive, that's all that matters right now.
that's right.
So, Holly, Vida Flynn, Vida Seca, thank you so much for taking the time. Un abrazo. Gracias por estar aquí. Y hay cualquier cosa, reach out to us. We're here to support and to elevate and to, educate. And that's what this is about. So, gracias a ustedes que escucharon hoy. Thank you for listening in. Make sure that you like us, follow Holly, follow Eva. Get informed, become part of the process because we're seeing a lot of stuff happening right now with voting. There's potentially redistricting of locations or districts where local officials are representing these certain areas, and we want to make sure that your voice matters and your voice is counted. So get out there and vote. And this is just one election. There's so many more to come. So, my super comadre Liliana, are you there? Are you still there, comadre? Where are you? I know you're in the back.
I am here. I'm here. I'm learning from you both.
Yes. So here is Holly. We had Holly. We had Eva. I'm super excited. Final words from you, Liliana.
Well, we would like to thank our sponsors, first of all.
Yes.
And thank you for all your support. And remember, if you would like to be one of our sponsors, please contact La Super Comadre Claudia at any time. You can also contact us through radiocrystalusa.com. And if you want more information about our sponsorships, let us know.
All right. So we are wrapping it up, comadre. So I'm loving this. I'm excited to also announce that we're not only on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, correct?
That's every day.
So we're now on every single day. So my show, we recorded today, but we are going to be on tonight all the way until next Tuesday when we have our new show. So if you missed it today, and if you want to come back and get a chance to hear it again, see it again, maybe you missed something, a lo mejor se les pasó algo, están en la cena, están con los niños con la tarea, pueden regresar. You can come back. Visit us at YouTube, visit us on the Facebook page, visit us on Instagram, and get a chance to listen, get a chance to get to know these candidates, get a chance to know why it's important to vote. So come back. We're on every day, 10 o'clock in the morning, and again, 10 o'clock at night. So, beso a todos, cuídense, ámense, y adelante con todo en su vida.
Vote and vote.
Adiós, chao.
¡Mua!
Vayan a votar.
¿Qué pasó?
Que vayan a votar.
Sí, vayan a votar. Empezamos el 18 de octubre hasta
El 29.
el 29 de octubre. Y luego el día de las elecciones, el 2 de noviembre.
And let it be known that every guest you have wins.
Wins. Well, we only had one that didn't win. Just one.
Oh, that's like just one.
We only had one. But it doesn't count. But everyone that's been on wins.
All
So,
right.
we're sprinkling you the magic winning dust. Yes. So everyone that's been on has won. So, adiós a todos. Ámense, cuídense y hasta la próxima.
Bye.
Bye.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,